Okay, I know it's not nearly as much fun as a pickfest, but I looked at this morning, and it's only been a couple of days or 4 days since I put up a video. I took out a lot of stuff, but it had all healed up as of this morning, and without thinking about it, I sat down and just started picking at it. Um, so rather than treating you to the whole bloody mess, I'm going to do a kind of a walkthrough. I might pick out some stuff if there's anything left to pick. But I have taken out pretty much of a huge amount of stuff. There's that. That was gigantic. It came out of right there in that corner. And you can see on that that there's this side is still impacted. It's overlapped the back of the nail, and it's obscuring it on that line. So this will all come out here, but what's interesting is on a lot of these fingers, the cuticle line is moving back. It's finally starting to erode and come off of the nail bed, and the nail is forming further and further back. The cuticle used to be out here, but when the cuticle was, since I'm taking out material now all the way around, when the cuticle was out here, the nail was out here. So the nail is staying, relatively speaking, the same length, but it's just shifting back, because as the cuticle line now moves back and comes off of the nail bed and back, the front of the nail is scaling off too. But you can see how radically abbreviated these nails really are. That just shows how much nail I had bitten off when I was a kid. You can see that this line wants to go across there underneath, and this is all dead callous skin here. Let's see. So that line will just continue on around. The nail is sticking out over this dead callous skin, and it's showing that, and it's hiding it. It's hiding under there. Let's see. I pulled out here, and a lot of this you might be able to see that you get under there. You can see how that nail flattened up, started to build up and come off of the nail bed, and then flatten out, and it came out over this dead collar of skin on the side. And when the nails were much bigger, they covered this stuff all the way out to here. So, and there's still more. So if you were to pull this nail, you would see that this buildup, this collar of dead cuticle skin, is much thicker. It's still much bigger than you are actually seeing. Let's see, where's another one that's really, well, you can see it on the thumb. This has thinned down quite a bit. See, the one on the right is quite a bit wider, and I've started, but the wing has started to come off of this one. It chipped, a little chip came out, and there was a really thick piece of that dried up almost immediately. You could see the edge of it. It went right across there. And it was the edge of a whole mass of impacted skin, which was really made up of layers, one after another. But it had all built up. This bumper had all built up before this nail extended out over it. And so it was just, it was embalmed under there. As soon as that chip came out in that corner, then that edge right there dried up and curled up, and it wanted to be picked out, and that's where it came out, right there. And what it shows is all of this whole mass, all of this, all the way around, this is all callous skin. And there's yet more. If these wings came off here, you would see that actually the callus is actually from there all the way out to there. It's still massively wide, and the whole front of my fingers are just huge masses of built-up dead cuticle skin. You can see this oval shape is all dead skin, all of the red material, and you see how lumpy and misshapen the front of the finger is. That's because this is callous skin, and some of it has been peeled off over here, and some of it has been peeled back here, and some of it has been peeled out of this corner here, and the profile has dropped some. But right here on front, there's still a buildup of callus, and that's why it makes it look like it's going out to this side. It's just dead skin that hasn't been scaled off yet. And you can see on this that when this scrum here peels off, and I don't know what part of that is skin and what part of that is nail. This is nail here overlying this cuticle material and dead skin underneath it. But that's going to come off there. You can see where that's already flaking. And then this line, this indent, which you can't see because this wing is still built out over it, but you can see a little better over here. This is still very thick, and so this indent line right there is going to travel out. It's actually going to, when this comes off, this callus is going to roll up, and that indent is going to go across right there, right in front. This is probably where I had my nail bitten back to when I was little, when I was a kid. And you see there's still tons and tons and tons of dead skin impacted in there. It's just more and more and more till it's all gone. Nothing you can do about it. We're into it now. You know, there's nothing else to do but follow it on out and finish. But as much skin as I've taken off, as much dead skin as I've taken off, there's yet that much more to go. And my thumb, this thumb is still thicker compared to this one. But this is emptying out and thinning down quite a bit. The tip of my finger is, because of this skin is scaling off more here than back here, the tip of my thumb is starting to thin down. You can see there. But it's still too wide back here. And it's not as dramatic on here because the wings are still on here and I haven't been able to get under them. It's so tight that it's pretty painful trying to pull that dead skin material out, like this piece here. You know, that was a big hunk to take out from under there in that corner, and it hurts. It'll hurt you quite a bit. So ideally, you know, you would rather that the nail scale off first before you had to tackle that. But the impaction, the pain, the discomfort from it gets to be so much that you just want to go ahead and preempt the process and pull it out. This is all dead rubbery stuff here. It's coming out now. There's a lot now that's newer nail material that's coming out over, and it's hard to tell. Most of the old nails have broken up, and maybe 2 or 3 of them have broken up and come out. And this is all newer nail material. Some of it hasn't really broken loose yet. And what it's doing is it's making a new nail like this, but it's this newer material that's made out of this old stashed stuff out here. The newer stuff that's moving along underneath is coming out. This crud up here is dumping out on top of it. This is emptying out, but this is still making new nail that's coming out over old damage. And so it's still not right, and it's having time though to form up and turn into a nail. And what I've got on several of them is when I pick at this some more, this nail will break loose and move out, and you'll see that the next nail forming underneath down there, even though it's new material, is going to be coming out in a smaller dimension. And my nails now are reversing, and each successive repair nail or top nail that's being made, instead of getting incrementally larger with every nail that's made, now they're getting incrementally smaller because the old nail, the top nail, the new top nail, actually repair nail, when it breaks up and moves out, the next nail forming underneath is slightly smaller. And you can see that this stuff is still all dead skin. This is a big flubber bumper here, and I could get that point of that in anywhere and start to peel it out. You know, that's dead skin. It's still laminated up in there. You can do it either way. You can get it at the point underneath on the side and pull it out like that and take it all the way around, or with somewhat less risk to sticking yourself, you can pull at it like that and pull it down. It's all dead skin. It's all got to go one way or another. So it's going to get tender when I get around there that side because I've already been picking it out today. But you can see this is revealing. This was all laminated solid right up to the nail. All of this was skin over there this morning. All of this was buried just like that. The skin came right up and over. All of this was sandwiched in and almost looked like you couldn't tell skin from nail. But when that comes off, it'll free the nail up, and this still has a side, even though this is much smaller. This is a newer nail. It's much smaller, but it's still leaking out to the side over all this stuff when it forms because it's not in contact with the nail bed, and there's still junk under there that's making a table, and that's still letting this new, more liquid material come out and spread out over the dead callus material that's underneath. But when this wing comes off, then you'll see this bumper, and then this will chisel out, and then you'll see that line that runs around, that indent that runs around underneath inside. This nail here will scale off back to here first, and then it'll keep scaling. It's going to have to keep going until it's all gone. Back, I suspect that everything will come off that is sitting on top of dead cuticle skin that formed underneath it, no matter how much that is or how far back it goes. I don't want to really get into picking here because I've done a lot this morning already. But that'll just show you there. See, this is just over and over and over. Tried to stick myself there, but you see that's just all laminated up in there, layer after layer after layer. And when they delaminate, then this will break up. It's self-reinforcing one to the other. The dead skin reinforce the frozen nail, and the frozen nail keeps the dead skin from delaminating and flaking off. That's skin. That skin that was underneath the nail. This nail was on top. And this nail has been flaking back. It reveals another layer of dead skin underneath. That skin will then start to dry up and flake off. And it'll just take you to the next layer. And it's massive. And I've been doing this for a long time. And every time I take off a layer, I think I'm getting there, and I'm thinking that's it. But more and more the nail comes off and reveals yet more and more and more of this bumper. And if the whole nail was gone, there's no telling how much this might actually be. It might still be a quarter of an inch, a 3/8 of an inch of dead skin here that's all buildup, and it's all overlaying the nail bed. And I won't have a prayer. I'm not really getting anywhere till all of that old material comes off, and you can see that right there. That's that dent that drops inside. Right there. I'm picking that out of it. The body will fill that dent up with dead skin and whatnot, and that'll make a flat surface for the nail then to spill out over. And that is all just laminated up against the side of the nail. And all of this skin was just flat over. All of this was skin this morning, and it was all right up to there. And 2 days ago, it looked like I had picked it all out, you know. It's just back and back and back, more and more and more. since we're here. See, that's digging that groove out. It's not like a flat layer, that's thicker in there. It's impacted in there. And then when that comes out, peels out from underneath the nail, it'll undermine the nail or the wing, and then it'll want to come out then, without having to cut it, trim it hard down through in the middle of all this other stuff. It'll be in relief, and you'll be able to do it without sticking yourself, hurting yourself so bad. So that's just all the collar. You know, this is built up over and over and over. It's a big oval, and it's very thick, much thicker than I realized when I first started. The collar is much, much, much bigger than I ever realized. The amount of impaction is much greater than I realized, even long after I got started seeing it and peeling it off. I can pick that out on this side. Let's see, this is the same deal over here. I've got the knife went right up under there. That's a wing. That's just peeling the collar off. Dead skin. But you see there how it bubbles in. That's just layer after layer after layer. That nearly pulled the string there, but it broke. This cuticle string goes all the way around. Ouch, ouchie, ouchie. So, I want to get this side to start breaking back too. This all came out this morning. You can see how it started to peel out from under there. I don't want to do too much there because it's tender. But you can see that that's laminated up under the nail too. That's not nail right there. Oop. That's skin, or cuticle skin, or whatever that's laminated in there. Some kind of packing that the body jammed in there to level it all out. Patch it up. It would support the next layer of nail that came out. And this is all dead skin. It'll peel down. It'll break away from the nail now that it's exposed. It's feeling a little tender, so maybe I picked it out. Not this morning, not on this side. It's just when it pulls away, sometimes you'll feel it. And that'll just show you the shape of the collar, the oval. That's a clip right there, all one piece. That all ought to, come out. If I wanted to pick at it, I would be able to get it to all come out in a piece. But I picked at it so much this morning that everything's pretty tender. But disturbing it, and then it disturbs it, and then it'll want to dry up, or it'll want to come out, even if it's tomorrow. So you just have to keep at it. Ooh, see, I picked that out this morning up underneath there. Piece of flake of dead nail or something that was in that little depression. So all of this is, I picked that out. You see how that relieved underneath. I pull that out from underneath, and you see how that nail forms and flows out. That's a wing there. It's a side nail. It wants to come out now. It was all laminated and skinned this morning. And again, this wants to come back to here right now, and then when this one side wing comes off and this one trims back, then this indent that's under here, which we'll pick out, it will go all the way around in front. And show clearly that this is a bumper and that this is nail bed and nail back here, like here, like that. I'll have that groove that runs all the way around. And here, I started to pick that out. And this, I had just stuck the point of the knife in there and peeled out all that skin and picked it up like that. But this stuff, when you, even though it's all dead, or maybe because it's all dead, it's picking up moisture from the next layer under. As soon as you take it, I was going to leave that up, standing up like that, just to show you, and come back and pick it off later. It dried up immediately and just flaked off before I could get around to starting the video. So, but this is still a little hydrated here. You see? All dead skin. Underneath the nail, where it's not supposed to be. Not supposed to be skin underneath the nail. It shows you that the whole thing's bogus. It's sitting on skin instead of nail bed. And now you see that indent that's starting to groove in. The groove is starting to pick out, and the bumper of dead skin rolls up and over and back down in. It's supposed to be there's a separation line between the nail bed, or the nail, and this dead cuticle build up here. And the nail bed is probably maybe out in front of the nail now. It's all scaled back so much, but it doesn't make any difference because this dead skin has rolled up and over the front of the nail bed. That's why I say the nails will restore some length. This one has broken back. The nail bed has broken. The cuticle was up here not too long ago. But when this cuticle was up here, this hadn't scaled back yet, and the nail was out to here. So the nail still looked the same length it does now, but it's just shifting back as the nail is. The nail forms when it hits air. So as I move, as this cuticle line drops back, the nail is forming further and further back, but then the nail continues to scale off here on front and drop back, and now you'll see that line running around underneath the nail that will show you that this is all this built up dead skin on the nail here, and everything that's under here that isn't nail bed is all dead callus buildup, and it's all going to have to go away. And something else is happening as I said, this is a newish nail material. You see this black spot, this blood spot. They'll talk about this on the internet and explain how all of these are all supposed to be signs of psoriasis of the nail and whatever. It's all just trash that comes from up here. It's just, it's part and parcel of having these nails being made out of bogus stuff. I can explain all of these lines and all of the grab and release marks In one of those videos, I showed the fingers, and I think it may have been this finger here, but at the time the nail, I didn't point it out. I was doing something on this nail or this nail, but later when I was looking at it later, this nail, it was smooth, but it had 4 parallel bars across like that, grab and release lines where the cuticle had grabbed the nail just long enough to make a mark there, and then it had jumped back, had pulled off or gotten released and moved back. The nail moved out some. It made another one. The same thing happened again. The nail moved out. There were 2, then 3, then 4. Parallel lines all in a row. I call them grab and release marks. But there's an explanation for all of these imperfections you see in your nails, including these lines. This comes from the scrum that's up underneath here. That's a different texture from the newer stuff that's actually kind of current production of dead cell material that's coming out underneath the way it really all should be doing. There shouldn't be any buildup under here. But this has had time, been stashed up, was bottled up for so long that pockets of it have coagulated and become coarse. And their coarse texture is what's making lines in your nail. But this blood spot, if that's what you want to call it, was I watched it come from underneath the edge of the nail here. It was because I stabbed it. I've been picking at stuff that long. But anyway, I probably created that blood spot by digging at it with my knife. But I watched it come out here, and it's in the course of 3 weeks or something. It's come down this far. And this line right here, you can see that was a cuticle line. It was back here, or the cuticle was up here. But it's moving out, so this was probably back here. And now this newer nail is moving out. It's too big still. It's too wide. It's got the wings on it, but it's broken loose because I'm picking at this dead cuticle material. It's broken loose again, and now you'll see that this profile back here is smaller. The next nail that forms, the next nail that comes out and forms, will be a smaller dimension. It already is. I mean, this is smaller back here from there. So the wing's not on it. It's right there, over to there. And they're going to be, as I get these wings off and as I trim this stuff off, the nails that come out are going to be successively smaller and more hemispherically shaped. They're going to be more like the section of a cylinder that the profile of the nail bed is actually supposed to be. So, and all that means is that we're making progress. We're actually getting it done. Kind of what you don't want to do is work the nail, the point of the knife back toward the skin. You know what I mean? But sometimes you're stuck with it, literally. So, and this is all dead callus skin, and when it comes off, hopefully it'll never come back. And it'll mean that the profile of my finger is all going to be smaller, here dramatically smaller soon. It came off of here. That's not part of what's bleeding. And you can see this is the same thing. The nail is arched up there. You really can't see it. Well, all this stuff's packed in there, and there's an arch up. But now you can see that the difference in the height. See, this veneer here on top is new nail material. It's only a few weeks old, but it's already formed a nail, broken loose from the cuticle, and started to travel out. And the next nail underneath is underneath, and it's a lower profile, and it's cleaner material. And each successive step is a little bit closer to back where we want to be. We're actually making progress. Hard to believe, but true. And this is how you cure psoriasis of the nail manually. I'm hoping that somebody comes along and figures out shortcuts for all the rest of you people. You don't have to. I've thought about this, when I was working, I don't know if I could have done this. I mean, I don't know if I could have kept my hands torn up for the kind of time I've been able to devote to trimming the dead skin and nail off. I had to go to work. I had to be able to use my hands. So I'm not sure that I could have done that. I can feel the difference between this nail back here and this. And this is still a little lumpy and misshapen, but you can see it's newer material. And each successive nail, I think, as this stuff empties out, is affecting the texture of this nail. When actually all of this stuff empties out, hopefully I'll get to a point where I'm making nails from the new dead cell material that's being made every day and that the body is trying to shed every day. And there won't be any composite of old, cruddy dead cell material that has been stashed under my skin for years and years and years, mixing in the mix. It'll be all gone. It won't be part of the composite that's coming out. And the new stuff will be making nails that look right and they're the right shape, and they're not affected by anything else, and they're coming out in direct contact with the nail bed and in the dimension of the nail bed, not impacted in any way. Another thing that's happening is that this shape here, which used to be clipped off like that, or like that, or used to be peaked or sloped off like that, 2/3 that way and 1/3 that way, all of that will rectify over time. No, it almost pulled. That's a cuticle string right there. Oop, and it's going to break off. Started to pull and then broke. I'm not going to pursue it. It'll come out in a day or two. It's a little too well affixed still. But it's wrapped under the nail, The nail is built up out over it. If the nail scales back a little bit, maybe it'll make it easier to get out. Ouch. I don't want to try to trim that side. See, that's a side nail there. And when it comes off, you'll see that there's a little bit of loft to that shape. This is under pressure back here, and the nail's coming out, and you got all this build up on front, and the nail is actually arcing up. That's why you see, I used to think these people had these big, beautiful seashell-shaped nails that were so big, and now I realize that that's actually a problem. I was envious, They're not attached to the nail bed. They're coming out, they're over dead skin, and they come out just like bird claws and curl right back down. They're actually not right. But they can look wonderful. Keep all that dead skin trimmed just right. Every bit of this is going to come off. All of this collar. It's all built up. All of this. That, you can see that's layers right there. Under the nail. Should not be under the nail. Skin should not be under the nail. Yep. I'm peeling that the wrong way. Normally I say if it peels this way, it's skin, like that. I'm actually peeling, this is skin, but I'm actually getting under it and trying to cut up on it. But I'll start, if I keep doing that, I'll start peeling nail, because the nail peels this way. Ouch. See, now that's all packed in under the nail. It should not be there. And this groove will pick out. That's that groove the flubber bumper rolls over, up and over, and back down in. And all of that will pick out from around here. All the way back around. It's all bogus, every bit of it. This is just packed in there to make a platform for the nail that's coming out, which is a cover, a repair nail that's not actually a real nail because it's not in contact with the nail bed. It's just up there, up in the air. Well, this is it, guys. This is how you cure. This is the analog version. I'm hoping actually somebody will come along and, figure out how to take all this off with a laser or something. Once they realize that this is the mechanics of it, this is how it actually is. People don't see it. They don't see that this is the structure. They think psoriasis of the nail is a disease. It's just an accumulation of damage. It's a result of poor nail maintenance and biting your fingernails. You can have the damage without biting your fingernails, just from not freeing your cuticles every day. That will cause a buildup. The damage you do by biting your fingernails is just a compounding factor. Changes the nature of the damage to a certain extent, but it doesn't make it anything else. It's just damage. It's not a disease. And you have to take it all off. You have to see it for what it is and get rid of it. And then you'll be able to grow new. Your body will take over from then and make new nails. But until you have a nail bed for them to be on, it's an exercise in futility. Pushing on the leading edge of dead skin with your little wooden orange stick is definitely not the way to do it. It's not doing you any good at all. And you can see that collar now up here a little better. This is a dead cell material, maybe, if that's not just a lighting effect from the window. But that's the way that dead cell material looks. You can see how the finger's deflating. My fingers were puffy. I mean, and very full. There was no variation in the texture at all. There was no down and up, and everything was straight, everything was full. There was no texture at all, and my fingers were puffed up, and they were dead white like a corpse. And now they're deflating. This dead cell material that's been backed up under my skin for years and years and years, dead cell material that wanted to make nail but couldn't because it couldn't get out because my cuticles were frozen to the nail, and the nails were they're plastic, but they weren't really moving out. They were just flowing out incrementally like a pyroclastic flow, muchly impeded by this buildup of cuticle skin here. And all of this stuff just built up behind it and wasn't coming out and making nails. And what it did is it just puffed up the fingers, and they just swelled up and up and up and up and turned white. Turned absolutely dead white, and you can't see. And you've got all that dead cell material in your fingers turn white. That's why your fingers don't have any colors, because you can't see the blood vessels through all that stuff. I think that's my working hypothesis. Because I'm getting the color in my fingers back now. That stuff is starting to shed, to come out. This one will start to shed. Now that'll release now. See, that was all laminated together, and it was cross-reinforcing. It's all laminated in, it's all glued in. When the nail breaks back, then the skin will peel down. When the skin peels down to the point where you've undermined the nail will scale back. Yes, over and over and over until it's all gone. And now you can see the next layer. You see the next layer under there? See right there? This layer. And then there's here. There's the next layer of skin right there. Oop, we're getting right close there. A little tender. But it doesn't really change anything. It's all dead skin. And the next layer down, which is tender right now, tomorrow it'll be dry. It'll be wanting to peel off. See how I nicked it right there. It'll tell you. There's a funny thing about callus is that it will vivify. One of the most painful experiences I ever had was I had a callus on my toe, and I had it for so long that it was a complicated situation. The toe had actually rolled over on the side. It formed a callus probably because my shoes were too tight or my work boots weren't right or something. But my toe had turned over on its side, and the body had made a callus on the side of my toe to serve as a toe pad since my finger wasn't upright. Well, one day my toe just decided to turn back over and come right back up, straight up and down. And that was painful. It's like the bone, like a dislocated shoulder or something that decided to reset itself on its own. So my toe rolled up in an upright position because I'd been I had been wearing sandals for a number of years. I was not wearing work boots anymore, and so my toe just decided to fix itself, and it realigned the bones in the toe, and it left that callus rolled up. It didn't need to be a toe pad anymore. It was on the side of my toe, and then after another 6 months or something, my body decided that it would put blood vessels. It would recolonize that callus, and it started to put blood vessels into the callus, and that was the most painful thing I've ever experienced. When the body decided to revivify that callus. And so that, to a certain extent, you get far enough down in this so you can take off too much material at one time like that. But that doesn't mean that this isn't all callus here. It is. It's just hasn't. You're just taking too big a hunk of it at once. And if you just take it one layer at a time, the next layer will dry up and start to peel off a little bit more gracefully than carving at it with a knife. There you go. Sometimes I watch what I'm doing in the screen because this magnification on the camera can see better than my eyes can. But not always. But there you can see that loft a little bit there where I chewed that out. This is very old damage now. This is going back to when I was 6, 7, 8 years old. That's a wing. It's too thick. Ouch. Like I said, we're working that in the wrong direction, kind of. This will all scale off here. That groove will be revealed all the way around. This has been filled in like a ditch that's silted up. You can see that's two different things there now. That popped out. Just another hunk of dead skin. It's sitting there forever. See, that was a layer. I didn't cut into the next layer. It turned loose finally. It's held in by pressure. And now you see that wing, which before was just minutes ago was all laminated in skin. It's starting to reveal itself. It needs to come off. And then more of this flubber here will peel away. That's all up under the nail. Delaminating. That's what we're doing. That's goes under the nail. It's all impaction. Cuticle string pulled up from out from underneath the nail where it wasn't supposed to be. And now you see the see this edge. It's all spillover. This was just packed in there to make a base for the new nail material that came out as it started to spread out and get wider. This side is going to come back here too, like this. All of this will come off, and then you'll see this bumper is yet much bigger, and that is just more impaction. And that groove we'll want to pick out all the way around under there, but right now it's too tender. Just cleaning up a big mess from 50, 60 years ago. More than that, 65 years ago. And this needs to get trimmed off here. And this will pick out that, so you see that, how that rolls up and over and down under. That's underneath all of this. All impacted up underneath there. And it's made a base for this nail to come out and sit on it. But the nail should not be out on dead skin like that. There should not be any dead skin there. And the nail bed is all the way back here somewhere. So the nail should be from there, wherever the nail bed is, all the way back here. And this, you start to see it. This is all dead callus skin here. You can see it. I could peel that off, you know. That's how extensive I wanted to get. There's a different layer. That's the one layer, and this is another layer. You start to see the outline of the collar. See, that will follow the profile of the collar around. Because the collar is really all dead skin inside, but there's a cuticle line there. If you get outside of that, if you let the skin run out straight up here, then this will bleed, you know. You get into tissue that makes you go, ouch, there. I trimmed a lot of stuff off here this morning. I trimmed that side nail off here. And that reveal that groove, and this groove runs all the way around. It hasn't been picked out yet. sometimes that callus is so stiff that even though it's wrapped underneath the nail and very tight, you can get the point of the knife under there and just leverage it up. Roll down on the nail and just lift it out with the point. Doesn't want to work now, it's too tight. That doesn't want to come out because it's wrapped underneath, and it's a composite back and forth of nail and skin, which makes it even more dicey, You'll start to see what a mess that is. And as this collar peels off, the profile of my nail, my thumb down here is actually getting skinny. And I can still feel the collar there. I can tell that's all callus and dead skin. It's hard. It continues right on up, around, and over, but I'm just not peeling it all the way off. I'm after these corners. Here's what I'm up to. That nail is getting thinner, narrower. And I need this one to do the same thing. This is all going to come off right there, all of this in front, and it's going to show that groove all the way around right there. Should be back to there. All of this will pop off, and then this groove will be here, and this will just nosedive off into it. And then I'll still have a ton of dead skin to get off back here. But then this nail material will start to flow out a little easier because this is just embedded in embedded in skin, laminated in. This is still not broken loose up here. See, that groove is revealing itself now. It's been there all the time. 60 years. Underneath fake nails, repair nails, that were not attached to the nail bed. They were just floated out over dead skin. This is the basis of psoriasis of the nails. And I sincerely hope you don't have 65 years worth of dead skin and nails on your hands that have to come off before you have a prayer of seeing actual normal shaped, healthy nails again. Ow, ow, ow. And that's pulling another divot out from underneath the nail. See? That's all laminated in. That wasn't nail there. This isn't nail here. It's other material that's just laminated in up underneath there to try to fix it and make a base for whatever the body wants to make next to try to cover over the damage. And you can see that goes under the nail, which means we're still not back. There's not supposed to be, you see that groove, but this is different right here. That's pretty dicey there. One little slip and you'll hurt. You will be hurting. You don't want to go too much further up under there. Ouch. You get the idea. You should be getting the idea by now, if you've been watching any of these videos. There you go. I'll take a little hunk and a little hunk. Might be too small to get a hold of. Oh, not really. But you can see it separating. Oh boy. That's a string. So now you see that groove is underneath there, right? And this is still filled up here. Still filled in. But there it is. And this is leaked out over it. So building a base to allow more nail to get up and build out and spill out and spill out and build up and spill out until it was all the way out here. And more because the skin has come off the side of my finger. Just look at the old videos and you'll be amazed at how wide that thumbnail is. That'll break down. You know, sometimes that'll break down if you just pull on it. Pull away, you know what I mean. You see that pulling out, pulling away right there. See, and that's bridge skin. It's bridging from here to here, where that gully started to fill up with filler. You see that? Can you hear me now? That's okay. I don't know what I'm talking about. So now we're getting back to this is nail here, and then there's a separation between there and all of this. Every bit of this is dead callus skin, all of it. And that's how much the tip of my finger has been increased in dimension. And when it all goes away, my fingernail will drop back and it'll begin back here somewhere. Plenty more to do. So I could pick at that, but I'm pretty sore. And now you see this. This is all built up here on the side there. That's not nail. That's just stuff that was packed in there to protect the nail bed when I was biting my nails away on the side, pulling out pieces of nail from down here in the corner, pulling them out of the nail bed with my teeth. These imperfections, these divots, are coming from where you see the cuticle was radiused across that because the skin had overlapped the back of the nail, and it pulled down on the nail like that. And so when this moved out, it left a void there, and then that allowed this plastic nail material to move in. But I haven't taken all the old damage off yet. So as I try to get in there and dig it out, it's causing this new nail material, which is still more plastic and softer than old hard nail material. It's just causing it to roll out, crumble up, and it just peels out like it's actually skin, but it's not. And it's difficult to talk about, and you have to be careful of your terms because it's all basically the same material. It's all dead cells. Just the consistency is different. It's softer. It's more flexible, or it's harder. It's chalkier and crumblier, or it's stiffer. So there's not really a lot of difference in this cuticle skin material that's hard and kind of crumbly when you go to scrape it off, and this nail that's that's poorly formed and hasn't had time to really harden up yet. It'll come out the same way, like that. That's not cuticle skin. That's a nail material that's formed in there. And this would peel down. But I'm not going to do it because that's too tender and I just don't want to fool with it anymore today. So, and you see that's a separate layer there. And you can see there that arch where I bit away on the side of my nail. And that's a separate layer there. All of this morning was filled in with dead callus cuticle skin that had rolled up and in and packed in to that corner since the last time I picked it out, which was only maybe 4 days ago. But this shows you the shape of the cuticle, the oval, and the amount of buildup. It would be even more dramatic visually if the nail were gone. You would see it even better. Most people, I'm a photographer, most people have really lousy, poorly developed ability to visualize. You have to do more than draw them a diagram. And it's amazing to me the extent which how many years I went without seeing what was. I have a very highly developed visual sense, but I had no clue of what I was looking at here for years and years and years. And now I'm intimately familiar with it. And you'll see this is all built up here. This is a little shelf of nail, and it wants to break back. That line, that cuticle line that separates between the nail bed and this built up dead callus material. It's going to come around here just like all the others. This wing will come off and reveal it, the gully that runs up underneath. All of this will pick out just like the others. That's dead skin. I could peel that whole thing out all the way around right now if I wanted to. Let's see. And then you would see that this is all built up, every bit of it. All of that looks red is dead callus skin. It's just a big, huge collar of built up dead skin. Just a big callus. And all of it has to come off. And you see how lumpy that is, and that's miscolored and the multi-layers in it now. And it's starting to empty out, flatten out. My fingers used to be round, and now they're flattening out to a certain extent. You still see the collars, though, sticking out to the side. If you look on the slope, you'll see that it comes down. See how far down it comes and around here. Everything above that line is dead skin, and that's below it, that's living tissue, has actually been pushed out and down by this buildup. The front leading edge of the cuticle wants to roll back up from here to here. And that you can see that will break loose there. Trying to bury, this is all dead flubber here. This is rolling up and trying to bury the nail again. The nail will just submerge in it. And that's too wide, and that's pretty hairy to try to clean out. It wants to be, it's got to get down like that one. A modeled texture of my fingers here. The irregular surface. It used to be all stuffed full of dead cell material, and they were perfectly round and plump and dead white. And so to the extent that you can see this lumpy texture developing, that just means that this material is emptying out. It's actually going out and making nail, even though it's imperfect nail. And the voids that it's leaving are letting this become lumpy. The texture of my fingers is becoming lumpy and has a high-low texture. That's just there's more dead cell material over here, and there's less over here. If you look at it on the side, it's the same thing. You can see that collar around. Underneath, you can see, sometimes you can see these white spots floating around underneath. And this has some void areas, like here, where it's emptied out behind the collar. And other places we have hard lumps under the skin of semi-coagulated dead cell material that's been in there for years. But the deal is that the profile of my fingers, this is much dramatically smaller than it has been. A lot of material is emptied out of this finger, especially in the front half. This has substantially more material because these fingers have been hard to break loose. Each finger is different. There's not going to be a different deal on every finger. You know, you'll make more or less progress depending on how much damage there is on the finger. And this is, it's not just because these fingers are bigger. You know what I mean? These fingers here are retaining more of this dead cell material and are puffier than this finger and this finger that have slimmed down quite a bit more. All of my fingers were straight on the sides, fully puffed out, and ran right around in front and straight from there, much wider out to here, and then straight back here. All of this was filled in. There was no wasting in. All of this was filled in on a dead straight line, all puffed up. So we're doing much better. And I'm going to start taking that seam roller and lay my hand flat on a hard surface and try rolling this stuff and see if I can get it to break up to a certain extent, because it's foreign material under my skin. It's waste retained in my body, and I did not realize for a long time that this is where my fingers will itch like fire sometimes, but especially this finger, where I have this really serious lump of hard dead cell material under the skin. It itches like crazy. I'll try to start working on that. Get it to break loose. Well, let's see. You can see the lumpiness of the fingers. You see this one. There's more material has gone away. The light is not great, but you can see it to a certain extent. This one is fuller. There's more material here. I can feel it. You may be able to see it. There's a lump there, and there's a lump here. Then there's a groove here, a void here. This is the cross light will show it. You know, the side light from the window. If I hold my fingers just right. These are bumps that are standing up because the finger is deflating. All dead skin on the side there. You see that, and it'll all peel off. This is just a gigantic hood. The nail, the nail bed may be here, you know, in here somewhere, in here, and everything outside of that is dead skin. A 1/4 inch or more all the way around and back here. It'll be slightly different on each finger. And these are, like I said, these are flattening out to a certain extent because the fingers are actually, the dimension of the finger is actually diminishing. Still got the wings on it. This is still covering the, the whole bumper. So once the scale back in front, the wings have got to come off inside. This is not a uniform arc all the way around. It should be smooth and even on your fingers. All of your fingers should look the same. They shouldn't be drawn down tight like that across the corner. Any funny business like that means it's problems. You've got problems. This is a more uniform arc here. All of your fingers should have be uniform like that. The arc and back, the slope, it should come down here. The nail should be cylindrically shaped, only where the nail bed is, occupying the whole nail bed. And this skin should roll right down here and then out, straight and around, and reveal the nail. Should be in a pretty tight corner here. If it's sloped like this, in a big, like a long ski slope, or like a slalom or something, big swooping line, that's wrong. If the skin is built up all the way on the side up to the top of your nail, like that, and you look at it like this, and you've got skin up to here, and skin up to here, and you're shaping it with your little stick into an almond shape, you're just shaping dead skin. And you can see this is a chipped nail that is sticking out over the dead bumper all the way around. It's revealed over here. But this is what it would look like all the way around if this was gone. Right? And that was gone. And that was trimmed back. You would see that whole bumper. And this is just a mess, and there's still more here. That side nail, that's all that has to come out. That's a nail extension here on the side, and this still has not broken back fully. Lumpy texture. Just check out the texture of the fingers. Start paying attention to what you've got. If your fingers are fat, white, and smooth, and they don't have any color in them, if they're just dead white like a corpse, you've probably got problems. All of that model texture there, that's high and low. That's dead cell material emptying out some places and being retained in others. Whereas before the nails broke loose, this was just stuffed full, and there was no visible texture like that at all. It was like a balloon. It was not deflating. It wasn't wrinkled. It was fully puffed up. So there you go. Till next time.